Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Celsius Freeroll Jackpot Tournament featured or hosted by Good Gaming. My name is Bloody, and I am joined by Falcon Punch. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing great, Bloody. I'm really excited to be here tonight.
This is
Really exciting tournament with a huge prize pool.
Yeah, you don't see prize pools this large every day for an open tournament. The prize pool is actually $1,500. The payout goes as such: $550 to first place, $275 to second place, and it slowly trickles down all the way to 16th place, where you eventually make even $25 for getting top 16. So it's pretty spectacular that Celsius and Good Gaming are coming together to host such a wonderful tournament.
It's completely crazy. It's the kind of thing that you usually only ever see in invitational tournaments. And I think in EU, at least, which is my area, there's barely anything like this, if anything at all.
Exactly, and we are going to be casting the first semifinal right now. We have Kawhiet bringing Druid, Warrior, Shaman, Mage versus Khal bringing Druid, Shaman, Warlock, and Warrior. Now, obviously, both of their warriors are banned. That just kind of goes without saying.
That's just become the norm nowadays, hasn't it? I don't know if it's the prevalence of Dragon Warrior or just how diverse also. Like, is it Dragon Warrior, Pirate Warrior, Control Warrior, Cthulhu Warrior, Tempo Warrior, Patron Warrior, OTK Warrior?
There's so many options that you actually can't pinpoint it, and so you can't pinpoint a counter, so it's just so much easier just to ban it. And we're jumping right into the game here. We have Khal's Warlock, looks to be very obviously Zoo, versus Kawhiet's Tempo Mage, it looks like.
Yeah, these are looking like pretty regular examples of both of these decks. I'm particularly interested in Kawhiet's Tempo Mage. Obviously, Mage is a deck or Tempo Mage is a deck that has changed, I think, a little bit more than Zoo has since Karazhan has started. So it will be really interesting to see exactly which of the new cards Kawhiet is running. I know Babbling Book and Firelands Portal have both become somewhat popular recently.
Yeah, Babbling Book and Firelands Portal, man, they have some potential for some wacky things. On top of that, we do see Cult Sorcerer, which is also a norm. I mean, that's a card that I think you could kind of take out. You could take out if you really want to, because of all the new cards. It's one of those interchangeable cards, but it looks like he's gotten in there. It's still useful, and there's the Babbling Book off the top. I mean, the beginning of this game is pretty standard so far, though. There's nothing too ridiculous. My real question is, would you rather play Crazed Alchemist or your Direwolf here?
I think I'd probably lean towards the Direwolf. I just think it's a more threatening board. Obviously, you've got the Direwolf then that does something in the long run, and the Crazed Alchemist, once it's destroyed the O2 taunt, it's not really doing anything. And I think you can probably hope to get a little bit more value out of that Crazed Alchemist with a better surprise trade later on.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just unfortunate because, unlike when you're up against Freeze Mage, you don't really know what you're going to use that Crazed Alch against, and you might end up using it on your own minion at some point. I mean, maybe it'll be a good trading point for a Naked Mana Worm. So while the game is starting out slow, we do want to remind you guys that Celsius is going to get you starting out nice and quick with their wonderful energy drink. So Celsius comes in a variety of flavors. It's a wonderful drink. It's basically just an energy drink. There's no sugar. You won't crash. It's really nice. It's great for gaming. It's great for working out. And it's featured in so many different places. It's on Amazon. It's in Vitamin Shop, GNC, 7-Eleven. Oh my gosh. It's actually everywhere. It's in Gold's Gym, Sprouts Farmers. This is found in a lot of places. But anyway, you guys should check it out. Celsius energy drinks. Really solid. They're the ones who are bringing this huge prize pool to us. And they're doing a lot for the gaming community, not just because of their prize pool, but because of their product as well. So it's really great of them. And jumping back into the game, we see Khal is getting some awesome trades here, which is what Warlock usually does. They dominate the board with their nice and small replaceable minions. Looks like that Possessed Villager was already trading off, and Kawhiet is just trying to keep up.
Which deck do you think is favored here? Just in this matchup in general, not specifically this game.
This matchup in general, I'm not too positive. Honestly, this is something that I think if it's not 50-50, I think it's about 60-40 in favor of the Mage, because Warlock could easily flood so hard, but at the same time, all a Mage needs is a Flame Waker and a Missiles, and suddenly you're just...
And you know what? Looking at this board, speaking about the Direwolf Alpha debate we had earlier, it turns out he would have been better off playing Crazed Alchemist earlier, because Direwolf Alpha would here have dealt one extra damage and would have demanded an answer now. but it was cleared very quickly earlier.
Yeah, and oh man, Kawhiet is actually just drawing all removal. This is exactly what Khal doesn't want to see. He wants his opponent to be stuck with, maybe bulkier cards like another Fireball, maybe something like Fireland's Portal, but at the same time, Tempo Mage is just filled with so many things that can clear minions. It's really tough. Not to mention Khal hasn't had the best hand right now, especially. I mean, this Doom Guard you definitely want to play with an empty hand.
Yeah,
You'll be able to play it eventually, but it's not looking amazing for either player, honestly. No one's in a demanding position.
I think Imp Gang Boss in particular is one of those cards that is pretty good against Tempo Mage if Kawhiet didn't have all of the answers he needs. So that Cult Sorcerer and the Arcane Blast is going to be pretty brutal. Back in the pre-standard format days when Nerubian Egg, Haunted Creeper, and all of these other cards were prevalent in Zoo, Tempo Mage was actually quite weak to the Zoo deck because it was very difficult for the Tempo Mage to actually leave the egg alone. Meaning that the Zoo would always get tempo very, very early when the Death Rattles go off. But nowadays, you're right. I think the Mage is quite favored, and Kawhiet dealing with that Imp Gang Boss so efficiently will have definitely helped a lot.
Yeah, I'd say they really have nothing to fear right now because, I mean, they're really just they're clearing off minions, and the biggest threat is maybe an Imp Gang Boss. Maybe one of your pings go into there and create another 1/1. But other than that, there's no real Death Rattle situation. Now, what I think is interesting is the potential in the future of what we might see out of discard Warlock. I think that's gonna be really interesting. I'm actually looking forward to that. Have you caught wind of any cool discard lock decks?
I've tinkered with it briefly, even before Karazhan actually. But to be totally honest, I think that once Malkazar's Imp comes out, it's going to change dramatically because drawing one card every time you discard one, that seems like a pretty huge mechanic. They are not going to be long games. We can say that much for sure. Diving back into the game here, Khal has just used up everything to get his Doom Guard out, and unfortunately, it's been eaten up by a very, very fast Fireball. Now, he really needs to start tapping every turn and drawing into more threats, like this second Doom Guard.
Yeah, the second Doom Guard is really solid for him, but, if this Flamewaker comes down with the Torch, with the missiles, it might even clear it off.
Yeah, it's pretty possible. And even if it doesn't, then Khal's probably going to have to trade the Doom Guard into the Flamewaker anyway, as it will only have 1 or 2 health at the most.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think the ideal move here? Do you think maybe you Drake? What's more important in the long run?
I definitely like the Flamewaker play here, and I like, again, targeting the Torch onto the Doom Guard there. Because the Voidwalker isn't that much of a threat on its own, and also leaving both targets on the board for the missiles means less of them will go face.
All right. Well, this is pretty solid because even now, if you trade your Doom Guard into the Flamewaker, it will still get pinged off. So this is fine for Kawhiet. But out of nowhere, all of a sudden, you're kind of looking at their healths, and you're starting to realize that both of them are on a really short fuse here. Someone's going to die really quickly.
I'm honestly kind of almost surprised that Khal made that trade with the Doom God there. I thought he may have been able to just risk going face, although then that would have had the chance of, I guess, Flamewaker completely destroying everything.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he figures he's at 14 health right now, especially because he played that Flame Imp. I think that was the mental trade-off. If I'm going to play this Flame Imp, I'm going to trade off the Flamewaker because I can't afford more damage. Kawhiet gets a nice Ice Barrier, which keeps him at essentially, like a theoretical 24 health now.
Yeah, that's very good. Because all Kawhiet really needs to do now is wait until he draws Yogg Saron, and then the game is over.
Yeah, I mean, even if he just draws another Fireball or another Roaring Torch, he has more than enough. So Khal is definitely very carefully trading everything. He is Zoo. Trading is just kind of what he does.
Yeah.
But it might not be enough. He has no form of healing, and there's the other Roaring Torch. Kawhiet takes a nice, quick Game 1 win against Khal.
Okay, and just to clarify, in case we didn't mention it earlier, this is actually best out of 5 Conquest, the format to this. So Kawhiet's Mage has been eliminated, meaning he only now needs to win with his Druid and his Shaman.
Yeah, and Khal is still in it with all 3 classes, not including the banned one. So now we're going to see Druid Shaman Warlock versus Druid and Shaman. What's a particular matchup that you definitely think Khal doesn't want to see right now?
Well, it's going to be really tricky with, I think, all of his decks, because Shaman has also become sort of unpredictable recently. It could be the new Totem Shaman using the Wicked Witch Doctor that seems to be storming all of the deck building websites at the moment. It could be a very aggressive Shaman, or it could be a slower mid-range Shaman that's sort of almost a mix of both. So I feel like with all of his decks, he's probably going to be a little bit afraid of that Shaman, especially if he runs Lightning Storms, making the Zoo matchup even worse.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I have been seeing. I remember I was with VLPS as he was toying with. Him and Shoop were toying with a certain mid-range shaman, which really, really destroys Yogg Druid. I think it was maybe 90 to 95%.
Really? Wow.
It was really, really nice, and so that's probably what you wouldn't want to see if you're about to bring out your Druid. But it looks like it's Shaman versus Aggro Shaman. Sorry, Aggro Shaman versus Zoo, which is, as many say, pretty favored for the Zoo. I'd say it's pretty 60-40, or if anything 50-50, as we've seen from the America preliminaries. At least it's nothing too extraordinary. However, it's still a toss up that's slightly in favor of the Zoo.
It's very interesting, isn't it? Like I think that the matchup in this case really depends on the exact type of deck that's being run. If that Shaman runs double Lightning Storm and double Maelstrom Portal, then suddenly it becomes significantly better for the Shaman. But otherwise, the Zoo is just going to be able to make favored matchups and probably win in the long run.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's how it usually goes, but like you said, it all depends on not only the cards in the deck, but just what you draw. I mean, Kawhiet is staring at a really solid curve here. You could go Totem Golem into Tunnel Trog, into Totemic, into 4-mana 7/7, provided he doesn't want to use his Rockbiter to trade. It's just looking like a really good setup here for him. But at the same time, Flame Imp, Peddler, Imp King Boss, these are basically all good starting hands for both of them.
Yeah, and I think this is actually really, really strong for the Zoo deck. Although he has had to use up his Power Overwhelming straight away, which is obviously one of the most powerful tools in the deck. He did leave Kawhiet with only 1 mana to play that Rockbiter weapon, meaning that Khal is ahead on board and able to play his Imp Gang Boss completely uncontested.
Yeah, definitely. That Rockbiter was pretty useful, and unfortunately that Flame Imp just slowed the Tunnel Trog down and slowed down the curve of the hand really well. There's another Rockbiter. It's probably just going to be used for clearing again. And ooh, that Mana Tide Totem is really solid. Now you're probably going to have to use the Defender of Argus to clear that off if you want to. Ooh,
never mind. That's a pretty nice
never
answer
mind.
too. And I suppose the Dark Peddler also gives him the potential for another option. It might even, if he picks up a Soulfire here, it might even be worth discarding that Argus. He wasn't able to pick up the Soulfire, though, it looks like.
I was going to say, if you picked up a Stone Tusk Boar, that would have been so ideal. You just throw down the Boar, throw the Sergeant on the Boar, it kills the O3, and then you 2-4 into the 3-2. It's nice. It's a nice little trade-off here. But definitely, I think depriving the Shaman of any extra card draw is pretty decent, especially considering the fact that that's kind of the edge you have over Shaman, because, you can draw and they can't, so when it goes turn 7... and they're out of cards, and you just keep replenishing your hand. If you let them keep drawing, then they have no edge over you.
It's interesting that Kawhiet decided to... Khal decided to play all of his cards there. Not playing around Lightning Storm or Maelstrom Portal at all there, just dropping the Voodoo Doctor on the board straight away.
So my consideration here is that Khal probably thought up the fact that if his opponent has Lightning Storm, Khal is probably dead anyway. So if you play around if you play around Lightning Storm, you could potentially just never win the game. Whereas if you play risky and you don't play around Lightning Storm and accept the fact that it's kind of a coin flip, maybe you have a higher chance to win if he doesn't have Lightning Storm.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the playing to survive versus playing to win conundrum.
Yeah. So, and at this point, it looks like he's just playing to win. He's going right to the face, ignoring the 7/7. It seems like a pretty decent move here, too.
What 7/7? There's nothing there. If there is a 7/7 there and that manages to get to the face, then Kawhiet wins the game. So it's just not there. You put up your shields and you ignore it. And I think that's absolutely the correct play. He's going to struggle a little bit soon. Once Kawhiet manages to get that thing from below down, especially if he can get it down for not much mana. But at the moment, it seems like he's doing okay.
Yeah, it seems like if you just tap and then maybe Crazed Alk your Imp Gang Boss, trade off the 2/4, just do a little full board clear and play your 1/1s, you're kind of in a good spot, again, if your opponent doesn't have Lightning Storm.
Yeah, or even Maelstrom Portal with a board full of 1/1s.
Yeah, that's a card now.
Yeah, and it's I believe quite a popular card too.
Yeah, I mean, I know that I was playing against a lot of it. I was playing in DreamHack Montreal a few weeks ago, and I feel like as the Zoo player, I got a lot of people playing Maelstrom Portal against me. That card just came out. It was like nice and fresh, but it wasn't really working. I mean, the way I had it set up was that I always had either a Divine Shield, a Death Rattle, or maybe even an Imp Gang boss. I don't know. That Maelstrom Portal 1 damage just didn't quite do it for my opponents. And so that's kind of my thoughts about it right now. I don't think it's amazing. I don't think it's that bad either.
It's one of these cards that is run, I think, most commonly in this Totem Shaman deck I was talking about before, because the chance of getting spell damage with it is pretty high in Shaman in general, but much higher if you've got the Wicked Witch Doctor on the board.
Yeah, I agree. That is a good point. If you're playing it in Totem Shaman, you're kind of expecting it to already have spell power, and so 2 damage all around is just a low roll lightning bolt plus a 1/1. So that's pretty cool. Meanwhile, it's kind of just battle the board. Ooh, that Peddler's real nice. Let's see if you can get a power overwhelming from it. And oof.
No, nothing worthwhile at all. In fact, isn't that the second Murloc Tidecaller he's been given the option for this
Yeah. Hearthstone is not really dealing him the right cards here, but he'll work with what he can get, I suppose. Maybe you just put down a Goldshire Footman and it'll keep your opponent from getting closer to your face.
I think there's definitely a lot of value in a 1/2 taunt right now, because just that little thing could just prevent 1/5 attack right now, or even more if Kawhiet had another Flaming Faceless in his hand.
Yeah, definitely. So what exactly is the trade play here? Do you think after you punch through this thing from below, you're trying to trade off the rest of the board? Do you even punch the 5/3? How are you trying to do this? I mean, are you just hitting face and just hoping that your opponent never gets what he needs to kill you before you can hit him?
I think apart from the fact that Maelstrom Portal just got picked up, I was going to say,
boy.
I think Khal is in a very good position to just keep smacking their face and win the game, but that is not a spell power totem, which puts Khal in a bit of a better position. It looks like Kawhiet might not even play the Maelstrom Portal this turn.
Yeah, he might wait it out just a tiny bit and see if he could get more value with it. That Argent Squire could trade into a 3/2, and then you can play the Maelstrom Portal. Oh, it looks like he's just trading that off. So essentially, Kawhiet is taking an overwhelming lead here, and he's just shutting down Khal really fast.
Yeah, I mean that's it. The tables have started to turn. Khal's had to stop with his good trades, and look at this. Knife Juggler would have been great with a card like Forbidden Ritual or something, but one Possessed Villager is not going to do it.
Definitely not going to do it, unfortunately. So Khal is really backed up into a tight spot. That's a decent juggle at least. So you could throw your 2/2 into the totem and trade off one of your 1/1s into 3/1. Then I guess just either hit face or pop the bubble, whatever you choose to do.
That Maelstrom Portal is just looking juicier and juicier.
Yeah, it's starting to look really good. I'm starting to look dumber and dumber now that I questioned it. Right? Kawhiet is just hovering over it, like, come on, end the turn so I could do this. Yeah, it's pretty much over for Khal for this game, and that's really quick 2-0 by Kawhiet. I don't know what's gonna turn this around.
A series of well-timed Doom Guards. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, no, now I definitely don't know what's gonna turn this one around.
It feels like it seals the deal. I think that Khal still has a chance here. There's still no spell power totem. Not that makes too much of a difference now, but I don't know. He's able to draw 2 cards a turn, which makes a difference. Not a huge difference at this stage, but it could, it could get a Defender of Argus and a Doom Guard. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'll just shut up.
Yeah, it was pretty much over. My only funny comment there was that there was a Buccaneer, and that would have been really funny in conjunction with a Doomhammer if that was drawn.
Now, Kawhiet just has his Druid left, and Khal has now lost twice with his Warlock, meaning he has Druid, Shaman, and Warlock all to win.
Well, the famous Druid reverse sweep is... I mean, it's the most likely deck to reverse sweep. I feel like I see that even more than the reverse sweeps on Shaman. I don't know. It's
Druid's
between
an interesting one, isn't it? Like, again, very, very versatile deck nowadays. We don't know if it's gonna be Beast Druid with the new Menagerie Warden, or whether it's gonna be Token Druid. Or whether it's going to be Cthulhu Druid even. I mean, you're right, actually. I mean, it's so easily assumed to be Yogg Druid, but
nowadays Beast Druid might just have a showing. Let's see how it goes for Kuwait. And he really just needs to win 1 and 3, and I think that's doable. And ooh, Azure Drake, Innervate, Raven Idol, it's looking like Cthulhu Warrior. I'm not. Hello?
You think Cthulhu Druid? It could still be Yogg. Yeah, Yogg Druid is gonna.
I said Cthulhu Warrior.
Cthulhu Warrior is a totally different thing.
What happened? I think the situation was I read Cthulhu Warrior on my computer. Someone said it, and I read it, and I was like, yes, I'm totally just saying what I read now.
Meanwhile, Khal's Shaman runs Bloodlust.
That's disgusting.
What, the Bloodlust?
No, do you see Kuwait's
Oh, wow,
hand?
okay, yep, I just saw Kuwait's hand. Okay.
Hello?
Fandral into Raven Idol for ultimate
Can you say
value.
perfect hand for me?
Yeah, I think that is a perfect hand. I think that's what you call it.
Wow. That's so unfortunate for a Khal.
And then he gets the
That
perfect
Lorewalker Cho might actually be a normal card to get.
Actually, I think you might be right. He's actually chosen it. Oh
Another Raven Idol, of course. Easy.
That is pretty huge. Although the Raven Idol is going to be awkward to play because ideally he wants to play Lorewalker Cho next turn.
I would definitely take Raven Idol. You just screw the minion you got and you say, Raven Idol, I need better minions and better buffs. I don't think Mark of the Wild is a good choice here. Oh, no.
Well, that being said, if Khal didn't have Hex, haha, then Mark of the Wild would be okay. That's a really good pickup, though.
Well, Power of the Wild. All the more power to you, I guess. Geez, that's an overwhelming start that can only get shut down by something like Hex. It's a little unfortunate that Hex was right there, but, you know, Khal kind of wants to stay in the game, right? You don't
Yeah, and even with that Hex, though, Kawhiet still has a 4-3 Beast on the board, an 0-1 Taunt, and he's able to play Lorewalker Cho.
Arcane Giant. That thing is huge and scary.
Could Lorewalker Cho really be better timed right now? He's playing it almost on curve. Khal needs to get past this Taunt Totem in order to get to Lorewalker Cho, which means a spell is probably going to have to be played at some point.
That's a good point. I don't know. I still kind of like Mark of the Wild. Redistribute your assets a little bit and throw it on the... Oh, well, guess not. I was going to put it on the Toad, but that kind of makes sense that you're throwing it on your Panther.
I suppose Kawhiet's thinking to himself, he's just played a Hex. What are the chances he started with both of them?
Yeah. Oh, and that's exactly why... Take notes. That is exactly why I wanted to throw that onto the Frog. So you have 6 damage officially going to waste.
That Lorewalker Cho is being played with in Kawhiet's hand right now.
Yeah, that's a weird... That's a wacky card that's about to be played.
A card that we haven't seen very much since Standard format, thanks to Pirated Shredder being removed. But
I was gonna say that's a normal consideration not to play it because you have Nourish coming up.
Yeah,
that's basically your turn 5. You don't want to give him a Nourish.
Agreed. You can see why he picked it. I'm sure he really wanted to get the chance to play it on curve, but
yeah. But then Power of the Wild came on. That was just so much better. If he gets another Taunt Totem, I'm gonna flip.
Wow.
Flipping my table. Sorry.
Well, at least it's not 2 Totem Golems, you know, or a Totem Golem from the Tuskar Totem.
Yeah, I suppose it's just a hard punish to the Mark of the Wild elsewhere. Was it Mark of the Wild? What is that card called? No, it was.
Isn't it? Oh no.
+2/+2 taunt.
Oh my goodness, my brain has slipped.
It's okay. Oh look, Raven Idol into another Raven Idol. No, you could actually use if you really want to, you could use Savagery to kill off the Taunt Totem.
Oh man, that doesn't seem good though. I think you definitely pick Raven Idol here.
Yeah. Raven Idol again. Let's roll the dice, see if you get a Wrath. Moonfire, Naturalized Force of Nature. Hello.
None of these seem very good. Moonfire is going to be the way forward, which is going to do exactly what Savagery would have done.
Yep. It's like, hey, here's some bad options. It's like, no, thank you. Let me try again. It's like, oh.
Just imagine the value. Just imagine the value if Fandral had survived.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, yeah, sure, that makes sense.
You want to know what's going to be ridiculous? Feral Spirits off the top.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Or a Lava Burst, even worse.
Oh, Lava Burst would be good. Flame Tongue Totem is not too bad because you can throw down the Flame Tongue Totem and put down the thing from below and actually just pass if you want.
You know, this doesn't seem like the type of deck to me that would run Lava Burst, though. It's a lot more mid-rangey. Yeah. And I agree with holding the Flame Tongue Totem. It didn't really do anything right then.
I suppose.
But that Bloodlust is starting to look better and better, isn't it?
Yeah, it's starting to look pretty tasty. Wow, you were just... I guess the Arcane Golem is just getting thrown down now, it looks like.
I mean, why not? A 3
Yeah,
mana
I
8
mean,
8.
the thought is either you nourish or your Arcane Giant and an 8/8 thrown down after your whole Fandral fiasco and this Panther.
Yeah.
Looking pretty solid.
Now let's see. It doesn't look like Khal is able to deal with that, at least not easily. He can play the Flametongue Totem, play another totem, and then I guess Think from Below, just to hold off the damage for a little bit.
It looks like he's just going face, yeah. I mean, he's about a totem thing from below. And he's just committing to the face plane. There's another taunt totem. He's just full of them. Wow.
I mean, he could argue that previously Kawhiet got the Manatee totem from his Tuskar Totemic, so it's only fair. They're both getting ridiculously good totems.
Yeah. Okay, and
Kawhiet just
suddenly
drew a
this is no longer your standard Yogg Druid. This is actually Mali Druid.
Yeah, and you know what? I casted a tournament recently where my own team, Fade to Karma, both Cypher and Semfglass 3-0'd their opponents with this deck. It was last year's standing, so I've seen the sheer power of Malygos Druid. It does seem to be very, very strong.
Yeah, it is really strong. But speaking of really strong, this Thunderbluff Valiant is doing a wonderful job here, buffing the board and making Bloodlust a pretty viable option in about 5 seconds.
Yeah, it can't
all
be
that damage
dealt with,
combined
so
looks like it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And if you Hero Power, that'll make about 22 damage if nothing's cleared off.
Although, what are we going to see here? So is the Moonfire plus Hero Power going to deal with that taunt totem?
Does Kawhiet think it's worth getting rid of a win condition? I mean, it'll keep him alive.
I think that one of the subtleties to this deck though is having the ability to, when you need to Moonfire, playing it with rather than saving it for the combo. When I was watching Semfglass and Cypher win these games, they actually very rarely used Moonfire with Malygos. They often had to use it before the Malygos even came down.
Interesting. But it looks like the greedy play was played here instead, and Lethal is on board.
Yep.
You just need a Bloodlust and Hero Power. Khal, please. Do not let me down, sir. There you go. There you go. And that's 22 damage. Or if I miscounted, probably even more. No, that looks...
It looks like a lot of damage.
24 damage, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yep, 24 damage. That's more than enough to take out Kawhiet, and now Khal is coming back. He is 1-2 in this best-of-5 Conquest series.
Yeah, Khal is going to take his first game of the series, which I'm sure he's got mixed feelings about, because yes, he's won a game, but he's also lost with his Warlock twice, which can't feel good. It's not a confident way to go into the next game.
Yeah, here's the thing. The Warlock isn't too bad against the Druid, and Druid v Druid is all about the Yogg, honestly, if Khal is playing Yogg Druid. So that's what we're probably going to see right here, right now. Let's see if this is a double Malygos Druid. That would be wacky. Whoa. These are some bulky cards.
Is this actually, do you think, a ramp Druid?
No. It's probably Yogg Druid with Arcane Giants. I mean, I play Ancient of Wars in my Yogg Druid as well.
Hoy and Zixo were playing very greedy Druids the other day with Aviana even.
Interesting. Ooh, this is a curve and a half. Coming from both ends of the field. Wow. Oh my gosh. Hello?
Do you ever hear the phrase, too much ramp?
No. No.
Is there such a thing as too much ramp?
No. So here's the thing. We've watched Kawhiet draw like a god. Well, start his first hand like a god. And he still lost. So now that both of these guys are drawing like gods, who knows who's going to win? Woof. This is crazy. You just need a Fandral if you're Kawhiet, and then you're set for your entire life of Druid play. Oh, Violet Teacher is so nice. Wow.
Oh my goodness. Why
can't I get these cards?
I'm expecting to see the Innovate. No, he's actually being really greedy. Wow.
100% naked. Wow.
And not punished for it. Which means next turn is going to be brutal.
I mean, what kind of a punish do you expect coming under Druid? What are they going to do? Swipe?
I guess it's Living Root's Wrath is the main one, but this... What? Oh my goodness, the greed here. Oh, okay, there we go.
What do you mean the greed? He's hopping with some good old...
Maybe my play was greedier. I was sitting and waiting for the Innovate into the Raven Idol into maybe another spell or something.
This is fine. You're creating some 1/1s. Oh, hello, Yogg. How are you? I didn't realize Kawhiet had him over there. I mean, he clearly wasn't good enough to draw it last turn. Maybe his skills have gotten better, and so now he's just going to Yogg.
Yeah, well, Yogg is definitely a card that ends games. Who can
Yeah.
say which direction it will end the game for? But
You'll never know. I mean, they say, and when I say they, I mean Terrence M. Says that Yogg will only win you the game 40% of the time. Now, in the
oh,
case of the
really?
most recent preliminaries, I think everyone's going to have to disagree.
Yeah, I'd say at this point a majority of people would disagree. When Yogg was first released, a lot of people were saying it's just a gimmicky card that was trash. I would say now a majority of players will say it's one of the best cards in the game.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous. I mean, it has such potential. It has such ridiculous potential of what it wants to do.
Clearly,
And
both Kawhiet and Khal believe that Yogg-Saron is pretty strong, as it's in both of their decks right now. And
Yeah.
with Karazhan, I believe only good spells have been released, meaning Yogg has just gotten more and more powerful during the course of this expansion.
yeah, I agree. It's a little ridiculous. Now, let's talk about the choice he has. He has Swipe, Wisps, or Savage Roar. All of them are actually viable, and it looks like he's going to Savage Roar right now.
Yeah, of course. It means he
All
can
right.
trade with his face and then
Seems good.
deal a lot of damage to his opponent.
Deal a lot of damage. Stress on a lot. His opponent needs... He needs some sort of bailout right here, right now. I mean, an Innervate would be good.
I
for
was wondering
Yogg-Saron.
for a moment, though, if he was even going to bother trading. It almost seemed like Khal was just going to go all in.
Yeah, that's a thought, but let's see. I mean, does he still have lethal right now? Definitely not quite there. And ooh, coin Yogg-Saron. Let's see if it'll clear the board.
We can see
Hunter's
that
Mark,
7 spells have been played as well because of the
is
Arcane Giant
Snake
spells.
Trap,
That's 2.
Mirror
3,
Image,
4.
Inner Fire. None of these are doing what they have to do. Polymorph onto probably
5,
your own Yogg.
2
Oh,
left.
Cat Trick.
1 left. Oh, no, okay, it was only 6 spells. Well, there you go then.
Oh boy, that was pretty horrible. Yogg-Saron wins you 40% of the time, it looks like.
This time, not for Kawhiet.
Yeah, this time not really, it looks like.
They win someone the game 100% of the time.
Yeah, I suppose. If only there was still a swipe with Khal, then that snake trap would get very easily destroyed. But I don't really see Kawhiet making a huge comeback here, especially because his Yogg, which was the big comeback coin flip, is used. That's it.
If I'm doing my maths correctly here, Khal is 1 off lethal with the 3 damage living roots.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, just about. He's got 9 damage on board. Oh wait, is this just lethal?
It's
1, 2,
1 off,
3,
isn't it?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 damage on board. Don't know why I was counting 9. That's very
8
weird.
plus 4, yeah.
Yeah. Yep, I thought 9 damage on board for a second, and then I also added the hero power afterwards, and I was like, wait a second, I can't add the hero power twice. That's cheating. So, he's 1 off lethal. Is there ever consideration to just put him there?
I think it depends what you're against. Obviously, against a Warlock, you like doing that because it prevents them from tapping. But I think against a Druid, where even though the Yogg's been used up, there is always a way back. You just create the best board presence possible. If you went all in face there and didn't play the Ancient of War, this swipe would have been a lot worse for Khal.
Yeah, and if they throw down an Ancient of War and you have nothing to get rid of it with, what are you doing? You're just kind of losing there. Yeah, I mean, Yogg-Saron. Also, a consideration of hitting face there is Bear Trap. Would be pretty bad. Because that is a Hunter Secret, and it has not been triggered through Freezing Trap means or through... Well, it was obviously not Snake Trap again.
Kawhiet has managed to take the offensive there. That's Cat Trick, right?
Yeah, that is.
I'm surprised that Khal didn't consider playing Wild Growth there to get the Yogg-Saron out 1 turn earlier. It almost feels to me like he's going to need it.
Yeah, well, he's not in the worst spot right now, but yeah, I definitely don't think he was expecting Cat Trick of all cards. I think it's such a new card that people still aren't expecting it when they think of secrets.
I suppose that Khal does have mulch to deal with this Arcane Giant. He just doesn't have much else to do this turn. Swipe does help. That allows him to clear the board.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate that he can't Wild Growth for cards until he drew that swipe, and now he is totally fine with that. What is this card? Blackwater Pirate. Your weapons cost 2 less. So useful in Druid, am I right?
Or in any class. Do you think, so Khal, next turn, does Khal play the Wild Growth? I suppose it depends on what else he draws, but does he play the Wild Growth for the extra spells? Or
if he draws an Azure Drake, a Fandral, an Ancient of War, Anything big, then definitely.
He seems to have the
Not
time at the moment, at least.
Yeah, he does have some time, but ooh, after Wisps of the Old Gods, I'm not too sure if he's gonna want to risk it.
Nah, this is a Yogg turn. Unless he draws Swipe, this is a Yogg turn.
Oh yeah, this is definitely a swipe either through Yogg or through the top of your deck kind of turn. And let's see, right off the top, it is Violet Teacher.
Nah, this has to be a Yogg.
Think so?
There is no way, because the risk of Savage Roar or even Soul of the Forest is just too great.
Do you know how many spells Khal played?
I don't know. It must have been quite a few by now.
Yeah, I think it's Yogg-Saron, and let's live action shoutcasting here. Lay on hands onto a Wisp. You
I
at
mean,
least
that's
drew
still
some cards.
fine, you know. That's three cards
Yeah,
drawn.
3 cards. Bestial Wrath. Alrighty. We got
There's the
Swipe drawn off the top. What was that?
Okay, so that he wouldn't have drawn it with Wild Growth.
Protect the King. Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
Oh wow. Unleash the pawns. Am I right?
Yeah, that's actually
Another
really good,
Arcane
especially
Golem.
as they can't die this turn thanks to Commanding
Yeah.
Shout.
He's drawing a lot. It's Holy Smite on the one of the Wisps. And then that Demon Fuse didn't really do anything. All right. Well, that was useful.
That's a Yogg that wins the game.
Yeah, I agree. Drew you like 7 cards. Wait, yeah, 7? Yeah. Drew you 7 cards. Filled your board. And that was pretty spectacular. I
just
think a
wishes
swipe
that-
here definitely is ridiculous.
He
But
just wishes that he drew an Innovate so he could play Power of the Wild as well that turn.
yeah. And unfortunately, it looks like Kawhiet needs to commit this mulch, even though Yogg-Saron only has 2 health.
Yeah, that's pretty nasty.
Yeah, I mean, and if you're greedy and you don't end up doing that, then you just lose, because Swipe and Feral Rage is more than enough to take you out.
Yeah, and there's the mulch. I suppose, does it? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It does actually cause Khal to mill a card. Not that that makes much of a difference.
Ooh.
Cthulhu!
Wait, he got a Cthulhu? What an entertaining option.
It's not going to be played, surely, but...
I mean, hey, why not just play all the old gods? Just find a Yasharj, whatever. Yeah, well, I definitely think the move here is just you can swipe the 3/5 Arcane Giant, and there are just so
I
many
mean,
different-
if you're going to Arcane Giant, you may as well play Wild Growth and the other spell as well.
Yeah, exactly. There's just so many different options. You're so ahead right now. I don't think you're worried about dying ever. Your hand is so full.
And the best bit of information for Khal is that his opponent's Yogg-Saron, it's gone. That's been used up. So Kawhiet's crazy panic button is not there anymore.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. I mean, unless we see a mulch into Yogg-Saron, I don't quite think there's a comeback here. Ooh, these Power of the Wilds are devastating.
Yeah, brutal. And then the Arcane
And you're able to
Giant.
play the Arcane Giant. I think that just warrants a concede from Kawhiet. I don't think he can draw anything that will bring him back.
No, that's just an Innovate. That's not going to do it. So this is actually going to be 2... Oh.
Yeah, now it is 2-2, and Khal is easily back in there with a chance for the reverse sweep against Kawhiet.
Oh, man. So yeah, it's Shaman versus Druid, right? Wait, no, sorry.
It's Druid versus Warlock.
Druid versus Warlock. I don't know where I got that from. Yep, there we go.
Shaman is done. Yeah, so essentially it's Kawhiet's Druid versus Khal's Warlock. Both are decks that they couldn't get a single win in with. In addition, they also lost twice.
Yeah,
So
that's pretty interesting when it gets to that point in a conquest game, because it doesn't become, which are the best decks. It becomes who has the worst deck, who has the deck that can't get a single win in the series.
Yeah, it's just there's such good classes or such good decks in the sense that they win a pretty decent amount of the time. So it's also funny watching them just not get a win in.
Yeah. I mean, I personally, for personal reasons, find it very entertaining watching Zoos lose. But you're absolutely right. Both very strong decks. Both decks which have been strong throughout the whole lifespan of Hearthstone. I know Druid has taken many different forms, but it's always been solid.
Yeah, and looking at this Druid right now, what is this hand? Kawhiet keeps on drawing so much ramp. What the heck? It's actually ridiculous. He's just drawing straight ramp.
It's the sort of druid that you really don't want to be up against, to be honest. It's your worst nightmare when your opponent has both wild growths, especially with a nourish as well to fill up the hand again.
But the problem is, he's been getting these wonderful hands, and he hasn't been winning.
Well, yeah, actually, that's very true. Back in the combo days, that would have been very unlikely.
Yeah, and combo days, I mean, you just get the combo, and then you just win real quick. Oh, boy, now just take me back to the combo days. Gross. Why'd you have to do that? Why'd you have to make me think of that? Jeez.
It's worth noting for Khal that he doesn't have an Imp Gang Boss or Darkshire Councilman in hand. In fact, I don't believe I've seen a Darkshire Councilman the whole series.
Darkshire Councilman, I think I saw his very first mulligan, his very first game.
Okay.
Yeah. It's definitely in there. It's an auto-include at all times.
Of course.
Zulok.
Though even without the powerful 3-drops, Khal has managed to curve out perfectly here, throwing some knives at his opponent and giving Kawhiet a lot to deal with. One swipe isn't going to quite do the trick.
Yeah, I mean, Swipe Innervate here, Swipe Innervate Wrath might be some sort of a consideration, but it's so bad. So you might as well just Nourish.
It leaves at minimum 2/1/1 minions, doesn't it? And I think Nourish isn't bad here. The only real question is, does he go for draws or does he go for ramp?
Probably needs more draws, to be honest. Okay, there's the Fandral. That's working out. Arcane Giant is okay. We're starting to hop in there with
Giant's pretty good as it's already 8 mana, and that Innovate, Swipe, and Wrath are going to just lower the cost even more.
Yeah,
in fact, I thought for a moment he was going to Innovate it out then, but he couldn't do that on 2 mana. I totally miscounted that. For some reason, I forgot that the Nourish mana had been played at all. I thought he still had 5.
Yeah, that would have been funny, but let's see over here. Wow, there are just so many cards to pick from that don't get wrecked to swipe, it looks like. In between the Voidwalker or the Direwolf Alpha. So this is solid protection for Khal. And he's really just pushing it to the face. I mean, next turn, he might even be able to throw down a Sea Giant to match that Arcane Giant.
It doesn't even feel like Kawhiet dealing with Knife Juggler then felt that relevant, because Khal doesn't have the capacity right now to even shoot that many knives, and even so, they're not going to be clearing anything. If he had a card like Forbidden Ritual in hand, then sure, that would have been a lot of knives. But actually, Khal's probably not too upset about losing it.
Yeah, he's probably not all too upset. So what do you think the move here is from Kawhiet? Oh, I guess it's just
apparently it's at Arcane Giant.
All right, well, let's see how much damage this is. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Paired with the Defender of Argus and the Power of Overwhelming, it's actually 14 damage.
16 including the... oh no, sorry, he can't play all 3 cards, can he?
Yeah, so that's 14 damage. Do you push face or do you trade?
He probably just clears and plays the Sea Giant, maybe.
So throw your Abusive Sergeant into the Peddler, then play your Sea Giant, then... Oh, he's just going face and playing Sea Giant, it looks like. All right.
Battle of the Giants. No, he's not even... Oh, yeah, of course.
He can still play another minion before he does it, you know?
Yeah, well, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, this is looking pretty solid. It looks like Kawhiet will not be getting the win with his Druid. That's so unfortunate. However, it's sad because it's almost like Hearthstone is telling the world this is what you get for not playing a flavor of the month.
Well, it's very interesting because, as I was saying in that tournament before, where this Druid deck, it was last year standing, it went 6-0.
Jeez.
Which was, so it's very interesting whether it's a different build. I believe it was Frozen's list they were playing. So I don't know if it's a different build or just worse matchups, but...
yeah. Oh, and that second Power Overwhelming is nothing short of lethal.
No.
We're about to have a consideration whether the Fire Elemental should be used or not, but now it doesn't matter because it looks like Khal is heading into the finals of the Good Gaming and Celsius Freeroll Jackpot Open Tournament. He's going to be facing whoever wins between Icer and Gandon for a grand prize of $550. And now Kawhiet is going into his 3rd place match against the loser of the next semifinal for playing for either 175 or 100.
So it is not over yet for Kawhiet. We are going to take a very short break, guys, and be right back with the next series. So don't go anywhere. We'll catch you in a little bit.